When the wooden man starts the game and witnesses a killing, everyone is terrified and wants to quit. However, the wooden man's glasses will shoot immediately when he sees a moving target. There is no place to hide in the game field. Everyone has become a living target. The only exit is also firmly locked. With the last gunshot, only the person who was frightened and stunned in the field is still alive. The puppet turns his head and the game continues. Only the old man is left in the field. Everyone rushes forward. Seeing that the old man is fine, everyone also takes advantage of the puppet's turn to quickly move towards the finish line, because if they don't reach the finish line in 2 minutes, they will die. The person who is frightened to the point of weakness is the first to die. The male protagonist hides behind others and quietly move. Seeing that time was running out, he was suddenly grabbed by someone. But he couldn't save himself, so how could he care about others? Time was about to end. The old man had already reached the finish line. The hero was about to sprint. The puppet suddenly turned his head, but unfortunately he stepped on the corpse and fell down. A Pakistani man saved the hero. In the final seconds, the puppet turned its head, and they both jumped, crossing the finish line just in time. Players who didn't cross the line had only one ending. As the venue closed, we saw clearly that this was actually an isolated island and there was someone watching the game from behind. Who was this mysterious figure, and why did the hero join this deadly game? Just a day ago, the hero was being pursued and attacked by loan sharks. He is a middle-aged loser. He divorced years ago, and his daughter was given to the other parent. As a vagrant, he relied on his elderly mother to support his daughter. On her birthday, he spent his last money to marry a girl. But when he gave it to his daughter, it turned out to be a pistol and a slot machine. He was sensible. His daughter liked him. After returning her to his ex-wife late at night, he encountered a strange man in a suit at the subway station. Little did he know that the gears of fate had started to turn. The man in the suit opened the suitcase and found it was full of banknotes and 2 cards. The man was willing to be slapped in the mouth and played the card-swinging game in the subway station, because if he won, he could get 10,000 yuan in cash. If he lost, he only had to endure the night. Finally, he won the next game. When he was about to use all his strength to take revenge, the other party stuffed 10,000 yuan into his pocket. It was not impossible not to take revenge. In the end, I don't know how many times he was slapped in the mouth. The man pecked at the 100,000 yuan in his hand with a swollen face. At this time, the man in the suit asked if he wanted to play a bigger game. If he won, he could get 10 billion. Then he handed the male protagonist a card with the Squid game written on it. Before the male protagonist could react, the suited man took a car and left. Desperate, the protagonist quickly called for a ride and was picked up by a mysterious vehicle. He was knocked out and upon waking had a terrible thought. People are shot here like animals. The male protagonist survived by chance and returned to the dormitory, where he encountered others. Then a group of masked staff came with guns. All the contestants knelt down and begged for mercy, hoping to quit the Squid game. Suddenly, the lights went out, and a large amount of cash began to fall from the container above their heads. For every person who died in the game, the container would increase by 100 million yuan in prize money. 20 people were eliminated in the wooden man game, and the prize money had reached 2 billion yuan. Under the temptation of money, the greedy and afraid people had their eyes shining. Some people no longer wanted to quit, but they didn't know that only one person could survive in the end of the game. Everyone began to form gangs to deal with the subsequent games. The gangsters gathered. The male protagonist formed an alliance with his childhood friend, a Pakistani boy and an old man. In the next game level, they encountered various patterns. The childhood friend immediately recalled the candy cookies from his youth. He guessed that it would be best to choose a simple pattern. But he didn't tell everyone that when the male protagonist was about to choose the most difficult umbrella pattern, he thought that only one person could survive in this game. He didn't say anything after all. If he broke the pattern, he would be killed. The gunshot just now scared several people and their hands broke the pattern. The male protagonist looked at himself desperately and got the most difficult umbrella arc. He suddenly felt that he was sentenced to death. He didn't dare to stop. Seeing that there was only 50 seconds left, he was only halfway through separating the umbrella. He nervously dropped a drop of sweat. The sweat actually melted part of the sugar cake. He immediately aimed at the light and found that there was a transparent layer at the branding. Time was short. The male protagonist quickly licked it. Meanwhile, someone was shot dead. There were only 30 seconds left. The woman took the opportunity to secretly burn the syringe with a lighter so that the sugar cake could be separated. He threw the lighter at the gangster about to panic. The woman aimed to please the other party. The hero's wit was evident, as everyone discovered the action. Their survival instinct drove them to learn. There were only 10 seconds left. Seeing that this was not a violation, the masked man did not stop them. The male protagonist successfully separated the pattern at the last second, while the other man failed the game. In order to survive, he stabbed the masked man's eyes with a needle, then picked up a gun and threatened a masked man. The masked people gathered with guns and turned around to shoot the other failed players. The man took the opportunity to ask the masked man to take off his mask. When the other party turned around, the uncle was shocked. Under the mask was a young face. Then the uncle pointed the gun at himself in despair. A mysterious man in black came from behind and raised his hand to carry the young man away. He was the highest person in charge here. Without him, the triangles are soldiers with guns, and the squares are higher-level managers. The players who survived were taken to the dormitory. With 90 deaths at this level, the bonus increased by 9 billion. Eager for the reward, players fail to see that the game will only grow harsher.